Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore, and breaking news coming out of Puerto Rico, the case against Ricky Martin, his nephew, those crazy allegations, it has all been dismissed. He has withdrawn the case. I'm so happy because we have a special guest here. So happy to have Sylvia Hernandez live from Puerto Rico here to break down all the information of what happened. Ricky Martin apparently, I guess, was on the Zoom there to confront the nephew, the charges in court today. So we have all the details of what happened. Also, I wanted to just talk to you, Sylvia, about this case because I know you know a lot of the evidence. There have been accusations that the nephew's now was claiming that he was threatened, et cetera, et cetera. I want to break down all this so we can know for sure what's happening in this case. So welcome to the show, Sylvia. How are you doing?
Thank you. Happy to be here with you.
Honored to have you. And so I'm happy to hear because as those that don't follow my family, Puerto Rican, we Boricua proud. And I'm so happy because we follow Ricky Martin pretty closely, and they were very surprised by this stuff. Not just because they're stans of Ricky, but they know Ricky, they know his charitable organizations, the work he's done there. This was a very shocking charge that came out, and I think a lot of people were taken aghast as it was like, they were implying, his nephew was implying what? So right out the gate, did this shock you from when you heard about it? I guess I want to ask first, was this something you thought, well, man, was there any doubt in your mind when it even happened?
Actually, I prefer, don't make up my mind in those kind of cases because as a journalist, I think I have to be, unbiased, but if that's the correct word. But, Ricky Martin is the most successful Puerto Rican artist before Bad Bunny, before Daddy Yankee. Ricky Martin, we love Ricky Martin here, but obviously these were very serious allegations. I have to clarify something that I read in a lot of U.S. magazines, and we talked about it already, Andy, and it's that Ricky Martin had no criminal charges against him, never. This was not a criminal matter. This was a civil matter. As in the States, as in the Depp case, because that's the first case that came in my mind, and people following through your page, and people know what his nephew did was asking for TRO, a temporary restraining order. And it was granted by a San Juan judge for only 2 weeks. Okay? In that TRO, he alleged that he had,
let's be careful how we say it. Relationships. Yes, thank you.
Yeah. I know. A relationship with the singer, and that the singer passed through his house and didn't accept that everything was over. Let's say it like that. After that happened, obviously, Ricky Martin, as you may know, denied via his Twitter and his lawyers. And then, things start coming along. First of all, this his nephew is called Dennis Jadiel Sanchez Martin, is the son of Ricky Martin's half-sister. And unfortunately, he has a restraining order against him too.
He's had multiple, as we reported previously. There's a lot of there's a long rap sheet on this guy, and as Ricky's team had said, he also is suffering from some mental issues. Correct?
Yeah, apparently. Obviously, I'm not a doctor, but he has a temporary restraining order. A woman. I'm not going to say her name. I send it to you, but I'm not going to say, I don't know if I send it to you. I'm not going to say her name because, she's a victim. It's a 2-year temporary restraining order. So
that's strong.
Obviously, there's a situation here. Today, what happened? Ricky Martin was in Los Angeles. It was a virtual. It was with one of his lawyers, who was an ex-judge here in Puerto Rico. His name is Harry Masonet. The other two were here in Puerto Rico, and he couldn't even say a word or present his evidence against, his nephew, because immediately they say it was dismissed because Dennis Sanchez said he didn't want to pursue with the case.
So there we go. I was just about to get there. Thank you for getting us there because yes, today in court, the nephew dropped the charges himself. And as I was reading this, he even said, "No one's forced me to. I'm comfortable with my lawyers." He did reaffirm that this was all in his own doing. Correct?
Yeah. Yeah, he was. Yesterday, it was another, in Puerto Rico, we say, otra canción. It was another song. Because yesterday he went to a police department and filed a complaint because he said someone called him to, I don't know if I can say this word on YouTube, but
yes,
threaten.
Yeah.
Threaten. Okay. So he said somebody was threatening him to not listen. At the end of the day, I don't know how you see it or how you people see it, but I think the damage was done, regardless if this is over or not.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because, look, he's cleared. There was no criminal charge. Ricky's innocent. It's done, right? Case is over. And then, but the problem is once a charge like this is out there, then everyone just starts, as I know from my past, when you have a bad charge against you, innocent or not, it doesn't matter. It sticks with you, and the people who don't like you will always dig it up. And so that's why I'm glad to have you here to really cover it in depth because I'm not buying it. I'm Team Ricky on this. I don't believe it. It doesn't make any sense to me. Why would he even do this? That said, I like to cover it fairly, right? And so someone who's guilty of such a disgusting and terrible thing may resort to tactics as such. We were talking about this before we went on. This idea that Dennis was out there claiming, well, he made me do it. I didn't have a choice. I had to sort of drop these charges or else is sort of he was implying last night. But now saying, no, there's no issue and told the judge, I didn't have any issues. I don't know. You said it what best. Like, why would Ricky risk that? Why would he has the best lawyers in Puerto Rico, I imagine, correct?
Yes, but listen, let's be honest. The first thing that popped to my head, and I know a lot of Puerto Rican women who watch this are going to agree with me, was why someone like Ricky Martin, who is a hot guy, a beautiful man, multimillionaire, famous, is going to, follow or get in a private or personal relationship with a 20-year-old nephew. When the guy can have anybody he wants. Let's
right. He can have 18-year-old role play scenarios all day long on a private island. I totally get what you're saying. Why do it for real?
I mean, it's kind of strange. Also, there's important to note that Ricky Martin, and that's why I know. Listen, I've been talking to sources close to him. Yesterday, it was a rough night for him. His husband, Joan Giuseppe, was by his side, obviously because maybe his husband knows or knew where he was or where he wasn't you know? It's his husband. They have 4 kids. But the thing is, it was tough and people close to Ricky say he was suffering a lot because at the end of the day, if it was a lie, can you imagine you having a foundation that fights to end children trafficking and human trafficking, and he has a school in Puerto Rico, a school of kids in Puerto Rico, in Loíza, Puerto Rico, that it's called Tao. So, wow. I mean, practically, the word they used. I don't want to use it. But in Puerto Rico, it can be a crime if you have any kind of personal relations with your nephew. Your nephews or your,
Yes, I know what word you're trying to say. Family, inter-family relationships like that. Yeah, and I want to be clear when I was even saying I don't believe Ricky's doing any of this. From everything I've known, because I've learned through my family, just his humanitarian work, exactly his foundation, which I want to plug here because he does so much great work for children. I just don't buy it. I don't buy it's what his thing is. He's got a beautiful family, married. He seems like such a good soul and such a good person as when you actually, hear him and know him. That I don't buy a word of it. I don't buy a word of it. And it does seem like
good people make mistakes too.
Yeah, let's be clear.
I'm not saying in this case, but talking about the evidence, I have a good tip. Yesterday, I told you about it. I had a good tip that the evidence that Ricky Martin's lawyers present in court was very, very strong. I'm talking, and I'm going to say it now, whatever, I'm here. And we're talking about private plane records of his telephone, for cell phone, I should say, for the last 2 years. Also text messages. And some of the text messages with his nephew may contain this kind of, I'm going to give you an example. I wish I had a car to go to work. I wish since I don't have a car, I can work or go to school. You know what I mean?
Clearly asking for money. He wants money. Yeah.
Implying. And I need to say this too. I have knowledge that allegedly Ricky Martin pays or help his 3 younger brothers. Ricky is the only child of his mom and dad. You know that, obviously.
Yep.
And he has, from his mother's side, 2 older brothers that are the one he's most close to, that work with him, or, he related more. And he has 1 sister and 2 brothers from his father's side. That sister is the mother of this kid. And that sister, who's called Vanessa, she has some criminal background here in Puerto Rico, some issues she had in the past with this kid. I send you some of the documents that I, was granted access to, where this kid obviously grew up in a very hard environment.
Interesting. I mean, look, I appreciate you are being unbiased on this as best you can. I know some people are like, well, nobody from Puerto Rico can be unbiased about Ricky Martin, but I sense you are. I know you are, and I know you're looking into the evidence and everything else. And as we've seen it all now with the case closed, to me, this is case closed. I don't believe personally, and I do share my opinions. I don't consider myself a journalist, if you will. We do.
But
our
I
research.
am,
You are, yeah. But for me, with all the pieces that I've seen, my opinion, my conspiracy theory, my whatever, I don't think this is what it was. I think the nephew is clearly out for something, has his own issues that I hope he gets help for, and Ricky is now cleared, and Ricky should be able to move on with his life, his album. There should be some sort of evidence that the nephew, unless he's able to drop that, it's, to me, that's a really, really damning charge for us to be able to say, well, it must be true. I don't work that way. I believe in due process, and Ricky Martin just won via due process. And if there really were threats, then he should have been able to help, call those numbers back or whatever it is, grab someone else's phone to record that. Guys, always record it. If someone's threatening or doing something, get the phone, record it, try to make sure you get that evidence, because...
But listen, it's his family. He loves his family.
Yeah, that's also what makes this complicated.
Nephew. I have word that he helped her sister with him a lot and paid a lot of medical bills. So it must be hard for him, I mean, it's hard. He must be heartbroken with all of this.
I can't imagine, right? You're there at Zoom, even though it's virtual, you're there confronting the nephew there, having to actually have to say this out loud in public, this outlandish thing. It's got to be tough for someone to deal with that. And I don't want to say I'm not anywhere near the level of fame that Ricky Martin does, but even I, in my small, very minuscule amount of fame, I know what it could be like. You don't know who to trust. Everyone's always wanting something from you. Can I borrow this? Can you help me with this, Andy? Oh, I really could use this. I get it more and more as more successful you get, the more requests you get for help. And so when it's your own family, it's hard to say no, right, Sylvia?
Yes, it is. It's like that, especially if you help them, not only with money, with your love and your influence. But there's also something important that people maybe don't remember or don't know, and it's that Ricky Martin was in the front of 2 years ago in summer of 2020. Actually, in this, I think it was a year ago, when people marched to get out of the governor, Ricardo Rosselló. He was one of the faces. I don't know if you ever
Yep.
heard of that.
Yep.
That march, it was more than 1 million Puerto Ricans in the street, and Ricky Martin was the front of it. He went right in the face of the government that actually is still the same, party. So I don't know. I don't know. It was too. Everything was, it was like a melting pot of a lot of things. Hopefully, because obviously this kid needs help, Andy. I mean, regardless if it was true or false, he needs help. This kid,
The nephew,
his
I
nephew
agree.
needs help.
Correct, agreed. But to wrap it up, yeah, I mean, he also had a manager who's currently suing him for funds. There was a lot of suspicion about even just the timing of all this as his album was dropping. That's always suspect to me. Why now? But moral of the story is the conclusion here. Ricky was there in court today, but didn't even need to speak up because it was dismissed in court. Ricky has won. The claims are now tossed. The case is tossed, and Ricky is now free to move on. Nothing here to worry about. So that's how I'm going to take it. That's what I believe here, and I'm so grateful for you coming in here, Sylvia, to offer your insight directly and really give us the scoop on this story. You can follow her over on Instagram at Sylvia Hernandez News. So give her a follow, especially if you're out in Puerto Rico or another Spanish-speaking country. Get your news from Sylvia here on Instagram and elsewhere. Such a pleasure to meet you. Please come back anytime.
Same.
Yes, loved having
Send
you.
my love to your family.
Yes, she was nice enough to say hi to my
girlfriend.
family who are big fans. So thank you so much for being here, for saying hi. We'll have you back, and thank you guys for watching. What do you think of all this? Want to hear your thoughts down below. Make sure if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell for all alerts, and leave a comment down below. But I love this. Sylvia making us international news here on Popcorn Planet. We got more, and we'll be live later today. Tune us in there around 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on Popcorn Planet.